Hi, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Erin.
And we're here to keep it real, raw, and what it means to be the confident woman. All right, so today on the Confident Woman Podcast, we have with us our very special guest, Braisha Owens. Braisha is an endorser of individuality and a lover of confidence, designer of the luxury denim brand Kissed by Bo, and fashion stylist. Braisha set out to instill those principles in every acquaintance by specializing in exclusive handcrafted wear. Braisha's first stop was Chicago, Illinois, where she received training as an assistant stylist at the Image Studio. She returned home to Akron, Ohio in 2016 with inspiration for her fashion wellness brand, the Paper Bag Chronicles. The Paper Bag Chronicles takes her vision of confidence and all it has to bring a step further by posing the question, can you rock a paper bag? The motto represents the idea that everyone should understand confidence to the point that it shines through any outfit, even if it were a paper bag. So Braisha, welcome. And can you rock a paper bag?
Listen, that is the question. I can. I truly can rock a paper bag. The question is, can you and can the people? Okay.
Yes. And I love that you having that motto and that saying, that's really been the core foundation of everything that you've created behind your fashion denim brand to the Paper Bag Chronicles to really empowering women to look and feel their best from the inside out. So I'm definitely excited to jump into today's conversation because, it's like when we talk about, can you rock a paper bag? How many times do we spend so much of our efforts, our time, our energy in focusing on our outward appearance that we forget sometimes that it's not about what we're wearing, it's how we carry ourselves and what we wear from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So tell me about it. Let's dive into the story. So first of all, how did you actually come about getting into the fashion industry and take us a little bit back to the beginning of times with Braisha? Really, what inspired you and how you came about to pursue this passion?
Okay, well, I'm an art kid at heart. Let's say that. Hey, y'all, what's popping? I'm Braisha. Hey, Chicago, how y'all doing? So I'm an art kid at heart, right? So I'm from Akron, Ohio. I went to art schools, like audition type art schools, like not the art schools. It's like, oh, okay, she got an elective. Like, no, I had to audition, have a portfolio, everything for that. And that was in middle school. And then I carried that on to high school. So I was in art school from like 6th grade to 12th grade, right? And so that's my foundation. I enjoy art. I'm a visual artist at heart, right? And so then that kind of just transformed into fashion, right? So I went to camp for fashion, and fashion was my expression. That's my transition from visual art was fashion. So I went to camp, walked the stage, and since August 2015. In October 2015, my butt was on my way to move to Chicago, Illinois. And then I officially moved out there in December. And then so for my 25th birthday, I had produced me a fashion show in Akron, Ohio for my 25th birthday. And then 2 days later, my birthday is April 30th. My fashion show was on the 29th, I think. And May 4th, I moved to Columbus and started my job at Aldo. So I can say 2016 is when I really started moving and grooving with Kissed by Bo and Paper Bag Chronicles, right? So Kissed by Bo is my denim brand, luxury denim brand, Black owned and operated. We create purposeful fashion through wearable arts, right, guys? So essentially every single piece is made with intention. Like I'm listening to my gospel music, I'm listening to just some really peaceful or just instrumental worship. And I'm just making my pieces, right? And so when people put it on their clothing glory, right? I have jackets that say ready on the back of them that are hand bleached and distressed and stuff. And so when you wear it, are you ready for what the world has for you today? Are you ready for, I'm spiritual, are you ready for what the Lord has in store? Are you ready for the good, the bad, the ups and downs? Are you ready for it all? So when you put this jacket on, are you ready, right? And so that's Kissed by Bo with the denim pieces, right? And that's the retail version of it. And then Paper Bag Chronicles is my philanthropic. That's my passion piece. It's all about fashion wellness, right? Being a stylist for 10 years, right? I skipped over. I did college and then I came here. For about 10 years, though, I worked in retail. Like really, I worked in retail, not like corporate. I worked in retail in the store. Like I'm at the store selling, right? And so I was a stylist too. Like I graduated from college and I had a portfolio, like a styling portfolio ready built, you know what I'm saying? And so as a stylist, it was so empty. Like how many times I'm style people and what? Mm-hmm. Like how many times will I style the people and nothing comes of it, or they just don't feel good. They don't feel good. They don't look good. How many times? You know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of, that's why I had to make the Paper Bag Chronicles. I don't even know where it came from, the Lord, right? And that's where it came from, because I always say I could have a paper bag on No, I think somebody used to tell me that, like, you can rock a paper bag, I swear. And I think I kind of flow with it, because it's like, I can have a paper bag on and have everybody want to wear it, because it's not about what you have on, it's how you wear it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like confidence shines through everything. Like, people be like, Braisha, oh, I can't wear that, girl. You ain't my size, or I can't wear this. Like, no, that's not it. Half the battle is confidence, right? I have the confidence that I can wear this. I have the confidence that I can do this. The only difference is I got the confidence and they don't. You feel me? And I feel like, even like this, look, this is a necklace and a tiara all mixed together. I just have the confidence to do it. You know what I'm saying? Paper Bag Chronicles is all about being fearlessly, unapologetically confident in yourself and all that you do. And once you can do that, that means you can rock a paper bag. That's what that means.
I love everything that you're sharing, because, you take us back to where it began. And, this confidence, this inner fire that you have, that is not only just your passion, but this is your purpose driven mission. Like, this is your give back. Right. So it's your give back to, other women who may not have that confidence or feel, empowered to really rock something that would be otherwise, something that would be like, I don't know if I can wear that, or is that in style, or how does that make me feel? Like, we're looking at it from an external perspective, but when you're sharing your story, I could just tell from, and those who aren't watching this video, which you can catch us on, we'll have our YouTube video too for the podcast, but just looking at the necklace that you were just talked about, and accessorizing, and really just embracing all of that, because like you said, it's wearable art, and your art is your creativity. It's a part of who you are. It's a part of your identity. And when you bring in, from your creator, me too, faith-based women, we're women in Christ. And, and we realize that it isn't so much about us creating, but when we become the co-creator with our creator, right? And that's where beauty and magic happens. But
you walk in purpose.
Oh, 100%. And it's in that. And so when you're talking about retail, I was just like, in my head, I'm like, it's just not fulfilling. So how many times are we in jobs or positions or relationships or any of this stuff that we just kind of go through the motions and there's no fulfillment, but it's really about trying to succeed with the art and science of fulfillment, right? So how do we create art that's fulfilling? How can we give back to others and serve and have it be rewarding and fulfilling? Yeah. But I do have a question, though, is kind of for those who don't know Braisha, and I had the honor and privilege to meet Braisha about 6-ish months ago. And, and you could just catch somebody's confidence, and it's contagious, and they light up a room. And that's what it was when she walked into our room at an event that we hosted. And she and I immediately hit it off. And but what attracted me to her was that energy. And I said, she is a confident woman. So I'm curious to know, where did this confidence come from? Were you always a confident woman, or was this something that came about through something that happened in your life that you're just like, listen, this isn't what women should feel like. They should always feel like confident, because that's really your mission now, empowering women through your luxury denim brand to the Paper Bag Chronicles.
I can tell you, I come from a long lineage of confident women. Like I have to just give them credit, because not only was it my mother, it was my aunts. Like, it was my grandmother. Like, my grandmother was every bit of 80 years old, still wearing heels. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe that we were on. Like, so when people be 55, they say, I can't wear heels. Like, girl, bye. Yes, you can. You know what I'm saying? And it can be a kitten heel, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your flavor is. But, like, I come from a lineage of women who was very confident, and they instilled that. Like, they instilled that in me to the point, like, I cannot ever fix my mouth to say I ain't beautiful. Like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, my aunt is every bit of, like, 250 plus pounds, and she wears whatever she wants to wear. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'll wear some stuff like, oh, Braisha, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna wear that too. Like, girl, you can't wear this bodysuit, but she will. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just so confident in her body. Very, very much so confident in her body. It's just instilled in me. Like, it's very much so instilled in me. I feel as though too, when I was younger, I was very small. Like, I'm small now, but I was skinny when I was younger. And everybody else kind of was blossoming and getting everything, boobs and hips and butt. I ain't get that. I still low key don't have it. And I'm 30, right? And people used to kind of like, I say people were like, you're so skinny, and guys were like, you're so skinny, right? And I said, but I'm cute. And it was like, you're right. It's like, yeah, so shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will always be like, but I'm cute. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yeah, you're right. At one point, this one dude used to call me skinny sexy in high school, because I was small, but I knew how to put myself together. You know what I'm saying? And that for real would kind of push me into fashion too, because I could never fit my clothes. They was always bigger. So at 13, my parents got me a sewing machine. And I was making my stuff, like I was telling myself to fit me back then. You know what I'm saying? Even for a fashion, not a fashion show, a talent show, because I love to entertain. Like I want to be the Beyonce of fashion, right? So we was doing a talent show, and I had a little group, me and my 3 girlfriends, and I made our office out of a pillowcase. Okay. Now where those offices at now? I couldn't.
Can you rock? Can you rock?
You're
You're gonna have to change your motto. Can you rock a paper bag? Is can you rock a pillowcase?
Thank you. Can you rock a pillowcase? And so that's like that's the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like it came from pillowcase to paper bag. You know what I'm saying? So like to answer your question, I just came from a very long lineage of women who was confident in themselves, and they put that in me. Like my mom to this day, like she's 56 years old and she killed it. Okay, like and then my cousins, like I don't know, it's contagious. Like you said, like when I came in the room, thank you, I bless you, but I'm telling you, I got it from them. I got it from them. Like when we all show up, it's a show. Like we coming dressed to the nines, you know what I'm saying? And even if we just stepping out the house, we enjoy that. We enjoy putting clothes on and just feeling good about ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And it's we come from 2 different walks, because I had, I didn't really have the confidence, and confidence was something I really had to work on. And I remember as a young adult, maybe fresh out of high school to early adulthood, I really idolized those women who would walk into a room and just lit up the room. And it was never really about what they were wearing. Yeah, they can look good. Like you said, they can be rocking a paper bag or a pillowcase, but it was something about them that drew me to them. And it was that, like I was saying about you, when we first met, it was the energy, the connection, that confidence, the air that was like, I'm owning who I am. And I think just when we have 2 different walks of like, you were ingrained from the get-go, you come from a lineage of confident women who was passed down, and yet I did not. So it was something that I looked at other women. I was just like, I want whatever that is. I don't know what it is. And it was through me doing the inner work that I kind of had no other choice but to do the inner work. And through consistency, I was just like, ooh, I'm getting good at this. Ooh, this is looking nice. Ooh, right. And so little by little, this confidence started to take shape. So it's really cool when we have 2 different women from 2 different, like, one's instill the confidence, one is still working on it. And then here we are, I created the Confident Woman podcast because it really, my mission was to inspire, encourage, and empower women to feel their best and most confident from within. And that's why I was drawn to you and your work. Obviously, from designer to designer, we have 2 different extremes. We have 2 different, and it's just really cool when you can bring women. And this is where we talk about, like empowering women, right? We can look at and be like, oh, we're so different. Yeah, we're so alike, right? Yeah. So in our mission, crazy. Right. And our missions are the same, right? We want to empower women to look and feel their best from the inside out. And I love, if you haven't already checked out any of Braisha's, her social media, Kissed by Bo. And I mean, her work is art. It's beautiful. It's fashion, it's function, it's creativity. It is Braisha in wearable fashion. And it really is a work of art. And I don't know if those listening are like, yeah, that's really inspiring when you could meet other people in your field or industry, or just somebody you maybe never even met, or maybe never will, but you're inspired by how they show up. And that is so key to, really setting the stage and the tone for your own baseline, but also for those that you want to surround yourself with. And that really is the power of proximity and community as well, because had I not hosted that event, you wouldn't have shown up. We wouldn't have met. We wouldn't have worked together. We wouldn't be here on this podcast.
Let's tell the people how that even happened, right? So I don't know how I got on your email list, but I seen like an event to go to, what was it? Just like it was a Christmassy thing?
It was like a holiday mix and mingle. It was just something that we wanted, something that was fun and light. And as as entrepreneurs and designers and all the things that us women take these roles on, right? We just needed a place to like kick it and just have fun and not feel like it's stuff. And I just don't like that stuff. Yes,
girl. And that's me. And so guys, when I met Rachel, I somehow got on her email list. I have no idea. And I seen it and it said $25. Now, all who know me know I hate to spend my own money. Like I have my boyfriend that always stays very close because I'm always in his pocket or my parents' pocket, right? So I'm never trying to spend the money. But my cousin used to tell me, she's like, Braisha, moving forward for 2022, you need to do one event outside of yourself, right? And I was like, shoot, I'm about to go, right? And I went by myself because, I was like, I can't wait for everybody to come with me and so I can know people. I'm like, I'm about to go by myself because I can't wait for them. Bought my ticket. I went up in there. First of all, that space, I did not know how to get in. Okay, so I'm over here like, look at the window, like a creeper, like, excuse me, guys, what's going on? And then I finally got into the door, and it was just, you all were very welcoming, like so welcoming. Like, it was just an eye opener. I truly enjoyed it. And I actually knew like one person I was familiar with another person. I was like, okay, look at this, Lord. I love that. And I'm going to be totally transparent with you, Rachel, right? Me being a woman of color, walking to a room, y'all were like, hey, come on. I love that. It could have been like, who is this? Why she's here? But it was so like welcoming, like, yo, come on in here. And that kind of just opened my eyes, like, yo, this is really like a sisterhood, like confident women. It's like, we don't care what color or creed you are. We here just to love each other. And I thought that was beautiful. And guys, like I told everybody there, but me and Rachel at the end, like, we shut the party down talking. We was like, okay, we gotta go. But it was just beautiful. And then from there on, it was like a snowball effect, guys. Like, she just a beautiful person inside and out. Just like, I'm grateful to have met you because I'm like, yo, it's like you said, two different walks of life, but just come together. Like, our mission is the same. That's why I was like, that's why I really wanted to have a conversation with you, be on each other's podcast, right? Because I felt like, yo, like what you saying, we just need to continue the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So they can hear it. Because we talk about this all the time when we talk, right? But it's like they need to hear it, like, because it's such a vibe. It's such a vibe, and it's something that it's necessary. Change the narrative. It's all about changing the narrative and disrupting the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And surrounding yourself with, women on this mission, right? Because you said with women, we could be pretentious. We could be, looking at it from a competition base, like, oh my gosh, she's a designer too. Like,
yes,
and oh my gosh, she has a podcast too. And it's like, but, if we're really in that space and we walk the walk and talk the talk, and that's that's a big thing to me. Integrity is huge. Walk the walk, talk the talk. And my whole thing has always been about, just opening our mind, opening our thoughts, opening our capacity to be curious and always take in what good could come out of any situation, whether it's an event or, a first time experience of doing something, whatever that may be. We always have to go into it with an open mind. And, that was, we were relatively newer at the time of even hosting these events. And it was just kind of like, for me being the host, I was just wondering, is this okay? Like, I don't know what our guests are going to expect, but to hear that was, reaffirming and, inspiring. So thank you for that compliment as well, because really it's women supporting women, inspiring women, collabing, whatever that is. We bookend it by women, because if we're really in that space, this is exactly what we do. We take down our egos, we take down our pride, and we just look at it and say, this is our life. And if this is our core mission, we do it, we live it. Right. So, I mean, that was really cool. Exactly. When you showed up and the other women showed up, and we just watched us all. I think actually that was one of the things that we talked about at the event was we're hanging up our egos. We're hanging up our titles. We don't care about your businesses and this and that. We're just here to connect, human to human, woman to woman. And
that's what I love.
And that's exactly what the confident woman is. It's we're all confident in within, but yet sometimes we just need the power of others to believe in us. Sometimes we get bombarded with self-doubt. We go through walks of life that ding and dent and diminish our value and our worth, but yet we single-handedly cannot do life alone. And surrounding yourself with just, badass women, right? That are all on a mission to become their best, most confident selves. And there you are, right? So, kind of bringing it, twofold to where we are today, 6+ months after meeting, and to know that, we can have these conversations and continue the conversations and give back to women and do the same.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I want to be very transparent too, because it's like, yes, I was raised by confident women and the lineage of confident women. Even my dad think he just all that. I'm like, Daddy, please stop, right? My parents together is ridiculous. They're ridiculous. But I can tell you that, like I said, I was always smaller. And people, I want to say bullying, because bullying, so they satirize that word ridiculously, right? But I feel as though for me, like I was always smaller, right? And so I wasn't like, what's in is booties and hips. That's what's in. And I low key feel like it's always been in, right? I know real slender girls saying, back in the day. But when I came up, that wasn't a thing. They weren't looking at that, right? So I had to kind of build my own self-confidence up when it came to that, right? Even like within my family, of course, like we were all very confident women, but I'm still smallest in my family. I got cousins that's like in their 20s. They're bigger than me, right? And I mean, genetics, whatever the case may be, but it's like I am still small, right? But I feel as though I had to bring that up to myself, like, yo, Braisha, like, you good. You know what I'm saying? You're good. You're cute. You know what I'm saying? You own that. Own what you have right now. And I feel like at one point too, and I feel like what happened was at one point I lost 15 pounds. And on my frame, that's a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So I got down to my high school weight, which was like 115. That's kind of low, but I was stressed out. And I figured out as I'm growing up, as an adulting, right? I'm seeing like, yo, when I'm stressed out, I don't eat. And I'm seeing that. I'm like, oh, okay, versus when I'm stressed out, now I know I need to eat, right? So I got down to like 115 and that was tiny. And I'm like, sheesh. I didn't know how small I was, and people started seeing it in me. I'm like, this is crazy. And so I had to love myself in that moment too, though. Like, you know, some people, I used to tell people, and I had to go through it first. Lord, he works in mysterious ways. I used to tell people, whatever your goal weight is, that's the clothes you buy for your goal weight. So I went through it. And I didn't like myself in that moment. Like, I mean, I was cool, whatever, right? But I couldn't fit my clothes. I was wearing a size 8 at one point. Then I went to a size 0. A size 8 though, like I can't fit no 8 if I'm a 0. So I'm putting my clothes on. I'm looking like I'm wearing my mom's clothes and they jeans. I'm like, yo, I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I went to American Eagle, got me a size 0, 2 pairs. You feel me? And now they're a little tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful, right? But it's like I had to love me at this very moment, and I had to. Now it's crazy. Now when I tell people, it's like this moment right now. Tomorrow's not promised. That goal weight may not be promised, but right now you have to love you right now. So do what you gotta do to love you now. So I had to go get those pants that fit me. You know what I'm saying? So I can look at me like, okay, you good. You feel close fit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking like I'm trying to be this size and I'm not right now. I'm currently this size. So I need to understand like, Braisha, love me, love yourself through it all. You know what I'm saying? And gradually when you get back to your ideal weight, if you do, you know, that's when you can wear that. But I had to love me during that time and love myself. It's definitely a process and this happened like, so yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like I had to build my confidence up. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I came from a long lineage of women. So you know how like I'm around that. I was born from that, you know what I'm saying? So I can go back to it and know, you know, the techniques and the skill sets that I learned from them, right? Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what happened to me. I had to like grow and like, you know, build that thing back up because it was going at one point. I was like, dang, Braisha, what's going on, you know?
Right. No, I love that. And you know, you talk about loving yourself at all these different stages of life, which is so important, right? Because you know, again, having 2 different walks here, like, I mean, if anyone has ever read my book, Chasing Perfection, they understand, like, you know, there's a lot of, you see yourself in a lot of those stories that I share inside the book, but it was from a place that when I hit my lowest, it got to a place of self-loathing. And there was nothing that I could find in my own thoughts and beliefs that was worthy of love because I just felt so broken, used and abused. And so it's really hard to see that loving individual that still resides in the mess that we're in, right? So it takes that insight and awareness to really recognize, like, listen, this isn't really who I am. This is just a season I'm going through. And it's okay to be kind and loving and compassionate at all these different stages, right? So these were the tips and things that I had to learn and in my overcoming journey. But I'm interested in learning more about yours. And so for women, we can kind of see it as like a weight loss or a weight gain, but it's really about loving yourself at all these stages. So what was some of the things that you had to kind of pep yourself up and work through during that season where you were highly stressed, you were going through some difficult, you know, things that in your life, and you ended up losing the 15 pounds. You didn't feel confident, like your normal confidence, right? So it did kind of take a ding on you that you had to love yourself through that season. What did that look like for you?
What did it look like? Oh.
Like, you know, how did you kind of rebound and rehab? Yeah. Like rehabilitate, like, okay, listen, Braisha, this isn't who we are. This is just a temporary season that we're in. So how did you talk to yourself through this? Because anyone listening, like, you could say, okay, journals or music or this or that, but like our whole goal is to give back any tidbits of advice that are just like juicy nuggets of wisdom and insight that our listeners could, you know, take or not. And so this is really just kind of like the sharing aspect of it.
I can say my support system is amazing. I'm just blessed to have a great support system. My partner, I love him. He was there. Like when I was going through it in the thick of it, he didn't know what to do. But then I had my parents and they was checking up on me like crazy. Like, Braisha, did you eat? Did you eat? Did you eat? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I think too, Rachel, I can tell you real quick side story, and I'm like continue with my story, how I rebound. When I was always small, like in high school and stuff, people always thought I was anorexic, right? And I ate more than everybody under the sun. But it's so crazy how I got to the point where I'm around people and I couldn't eat. It was so crazy. It's like, I think it was just kind of like a slight work of trauma, right? Because people always like, you're anorexic, you need to eat a burger, this is this. And I used to eat around people, like kind of gorge myself around people. I eat slow already. But I used to eat a lot, right? And so then it got to the point where, like for a month when I was going through it, I couldn't eat in front of people. It made me angry. I just couldn't do it. Like my cousins too, like my best friend cousins, like I couldn't eat around her. My boyfriend, I could eat around him, right? But I just couldn't eat around people. And it was just crazy. I'm so good now that I can eat around anybody. If I'm hungry, I'm eating, right? That kind of therapist. And in the Black community, therapist is taboo, right? If you got a therapist, what you need a therapist for? You know what I'm saying? You better talk to the Lord. Yes, but he made therapists for a reason, right? So I had a therapist. I ain't gonna say she was like the absolute best, but I can tell you that she just don't let me take authority over my life and stop caring what people think. Even when it came to like my parents, like they're my support system, but I'm low key, like, I still like, oh, mommy and daddy, like, and I'm 30, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's our relationship, right? And so like, I had to take authority over my life and find a therapist. And I had to, when I talk about getting my word, like, I should know the scripture because I looked at it like almost every day. It was talking about you have to capture your thoughts as like prisoners of war, you know what I'm saying? And commit them to the Lord. I don't know what the scripture is, but that's how it goes. I don't know what it actually is. So my thoughts of what happened was Satan was playing on my heartstrings because I had a phobia of vomit. Right. And so I felt like every time I ate something, I was going to throw up. Like, girl, I got to the point I worked at a job for 2 weeks. Right. And that too was saying that I need to work at this job. Let's say that one. I felt physically ill every time I went in there. I couldn't even eat like a fruit roll up, yo. Like I was like, felt sick every time. Like I had to get in the back room. They was having me doing like putting up the wedding dresses. And I had to play some instrumental worship music on my phone so I can just focus and not like get in my head like, yo, Braisha, you better be sick. You better go home. You know what I'm saying? Like it was to the point like I really had to like get in my word like, yo, I'm not about to be going through this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to be, my life ain't gonna be like this. And then at one point I was afraid to drive, and I drive from Akron often from Columbus, right? I was like, I'm not gonna be dependent on somebody that has to drive me to Akron. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like, when I said get in my word, I had to get in my word. I had to sit and be still like, Lord, what do you have of me? What is this? And I think it was just really a season. I never thought about how I rebound, but I think it was really a season of me trusting him. Like really like, yo, like this is very abnormal for me. I don't know what this is, like, but I had to trust in him. Like, I know he's gonna make it out. And again, my support system, my partner, he was really off saying, like, Braisha, it's only a season. You're gonna come out of it. You're gonna be back your regular size. You're gonna come out of it. You're gonna go back to being regular. And I did. I said by the time Thanksgiving came, I want to eat, and I did. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And this happened maybe in October because I'm like, I need to eat some food. And I was at Thanksgiving. I was around my family. We was at an Airbnb in Orlando, so it was a bunch of family down there, right? And I'm like, I can't not over here not eat with these folks. They gonna say something. They know me, right? I took my time. I wasn't anxious. I'm like, first of all, I'm with family, so you know I shouldn't be tripping anyways. But I took my time in eating. You know what I'm saying? I was around some people this past summer too. What happened was we would be at their house and their parents would be like, "Oh, we got to eat all your food," and I'm just like, "Well, I'm not that person. I eat in shifts." And I felt like I had a rush. I didn't, you know, I have a complex about that. Like, don't push me and rush me to eat because so I feel nauseous and I don't like that feeling. So it was just a lot. But I had to take authority over my life and do what the hell I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And just get in my word and be like, you know, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And all of these thoughts that be going through my head, like obsessive thoughts that I'm tripping, oh, I can't do this, or Braisha, you're gonna be sick, or you can't eat in front of these people they're looking at, like whatever. I had to submit them to the Lord and capture them like a prisoner of war. I'm telling you, like, yo, that is not it. That is not, I'm not thinking about that. And now I'm so much better. I can catch myself though. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm eating in front of somebody, I'm like, oh girl, you tripping. Stop. You know what I'm saying? I have to like check myself, but I'm relatively back. Good. That's how, if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, and it really did, because, you know, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of the points, you know, from the community that we surround ourselves, you know, with, meaning who is there that has our back we need to lean on, or if we're falling, right? We need somebody that's always there to catch us. We need to take captive of the negative thoughts that were coming through our mind, because when we hold on to them and we start, you know, you're like chewing on it, right? Right. Those thoughts become our words, and our words become our identity in who we are. And that's not who we are. We're not our negative beliefs and our negative self-talk and our negative just thoughts and patterns and behaviors, right? We're not that stuff. That's all toxic. And we know that's not from our perfect creator, right? He doesn't give us bad stuff. And right. And we have to recognize that. And so when we get in these patterns, and another thing that you had mentioned too was slowing down, whether it's slowing down to eat your meal, slowing down to take in account of what's happening in life, slowing down to say, wait, hold up, this isn't me. Right. Because when the world could feel like it's all coming at you, it's happening fast, from the thoughts to the beliefs to the actions to all these things. And we're just like, whoa, wait, where did I get lost in this mix? And then this where stress consumes us, or anything, fear, anything that's coming at us from a negative place can really prevent us from becoming that confident individual to overcoming the obstacles. And that isn't that, really the devil or Satan's goal is to keep us down as long as we can, keep telling us lies, forcing them down our throat, making sure that we taste them and we become it, right? When we look at all this stuff, it isn't just about self-loving and like, everything's all kittens and rainbows and journaling and happy music. It's about doing that inner work. And through that inner work, that's where your magic and beauty shines. And that's where your message came through. And that's where your purpose transpired from, right? Yeah. It's in these quiet moments of downtime that in our hardest times, that's our true test and strength of character. And that's where we're being conditioned and sharpened and strengthened to come out of this season more refined and defined. And so anyone who's listening, just knowing that no matter what your season is, it's going to pass. You're not alone. And even if you don't feel that you have that proper support system, the Confident Woman community always has your back, and just reaching out. And sometimes all it does is just take that moment to say, hey, listen, I'm going through something. It's all we don't have to spill the beans. We don't have to say all that stuff, but we have to muster up that courage and just say, hey, I need support. Right. And when you did that, you realize people had your back. And even for me, through my difficult season, I actually didn't feel like anyone had my back to begin with, but it's because, it was all kind of shaped because of my past and whatnot. And, and if you don't have that, that really is that empowering you to go out and create or find the people that can really have your back. And so it was, again,
first time in your own back, because sometimes,
like,
sometimes boo, he ain't understand, you know what I'm saying? Or my parents, daddy will always like, you need to eat like, yo, dad, if I could eat, I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they were there, but it was just kind of like, I had to first support myself, like, yo, you gonna be okay. Like you're going to be okay. And then the Lord will send the people to you, when you open and receive that, when you open yourself up to receive those people. Because sometimes we want that support and we're not open to receive that support either. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people be like, oh yeah, I want that support all day. But it's like, oh, but do you really though? Because it's like, you're not open to even receive that, So it's like, I had to open myself up to receive that. Because I was like, yo, daddy, you can stop talking to me about eating. Because when I can, I will. You know what I'm saying? So then it got to the point like, all right, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like it was the point I was crying, like I couldn't eat. Like it was really, really, really weird. I ain't gonna lie. I've never been to experience anything like that, but God brought me through. And it's crazy. I never talk about that. I say it briefly. I talk about it briefly to people, but I never really go in depth about like, yo, why? And I can tell you where it came from. I was in LA. I was out there doing some manufacturing, looking at some manufacturing, and it was, can I tell you, I had a great time, a wonderful time by myself too. First of all, by myself. Right. But when I started looking up, it's so crazy how I don't think, right? It's kind of like with Adam and Eve when they was over here kicking it, right? And then when they sinned and then they realized they was naked and they was afraid, right? That's how I felt, right? I was cool kicking it, right? And I look up, I'm like, I'm so far from Ohio. Like, I am so far from Ohio. I'm by myself out here in this city. If something happens to me, I'm by myself. If I get sick, I'm by myself. I started thinking like that, right? I'm like, but I started thinking about that after I got home. Because when I was there, I was straight. But when I was there, I didn't eat a lot either because I was nervous. I was like, if something happened, I ain't trying to get, hey, I'm by myself out here. I had friends, but it's like, these not my family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I came back home, I was shook. It was weird. Like I was out there in LA because they had these stores and I was going full speed ahead, talking to real estate agents. I was going too fast. And that's what I taught the therapist. She's like, you need to slow down.
Slow down.
Like,
Yeah.
slow down. And I tell you, now sometimes I just sit on the couch and just be like, don't even turn the TV on. Just sit there and just breathe and just take in the moment. Because that's what happened. Like, I was going too fast. I came back from out there, that fast life out there. I'm seeing, oh, I want to live that life. I can do that here. And then I can go back out there. Girl, bye. I had to slow my ass down because it was like, no, Braisha, no, you can't do that. And then spiraling to, I can't eat. I can't. It was so much. Just
right.
Too much.
And everyone has a different way of, dealing with stress. And I can relate. When I'm highly stressed, I actually don't eat. And it's not because I'm intentionally not eating. It's just, I'm so focused on that outcome that I just forget time passes by. I'm like, whoa, where did time go? And then you just don't think about these things. But again, slowing down. And it's almost like we're trying to catch the next best thing before we've even enjoyed the best thing that's promised to us now. And it's in that slowing down and in the process, it's just like, that's where the quietness, the stillness, the turning inward, instead of burying ourselves in those distractions or continuing to go so fast, we just crash and burn, right? So we've almost destroyed all the work that we've done. And then we're sitting there like on our knees begging, like, God, please help me. And he's like, I've been telling you, like, I've been giving you warning signs while you're dismissing them. I got to hit you over the head with a ton of bricks before you say, ooh, okay, time to slow down.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, let me
right. You're like, okay, I'm sorry, I missed all that. Right. Because we got to pick our heads up sometimes. But yeah, it's crazy, when we think about these things and how life just really, life is beautiful, even in the midst of all the mess and ugliness and just things that are happening in the world. But God is good, man.
The very being of life is just like, it's amazing. The very breath is like, like I'm being in my studio and I was listening to Whitney Houston. It was Whitney Houston and Fantasia was talking about Believe, right? I think it was on one of the soundtracks, right? And one of my suite mates came in and he was like, oh, I still listen to Whitney Houston. I said, yeah, because sometimes you got to believe, And he was like, yeah, because this world is shit. I was like, okay, yes. But I said, but there's so much beauty still.
You're right. There really is.
You can't ignore the beauty that's still here. Like, you're here. You got somewhere to create your art. You know what I'm saying? And do what you love to do. That's your job. I think just the little things. It's like we have to remember the little things. Like, I feel like we get so caught up with the world and politics and all the shit that's going on, which is a lot. But when we just sit and just breathe and just like, yo, like I'm comfortable when I go to sleep. I don't have any pain. Like,
right.
It's just beautiful.
Right. And that's, obviously another technique too, is the attitude of gratitude, right? When we just practice contentment and just being in those moments to really appreciate, again, the breath, right, that we take for granted, or the beat of our heart that we take for granted, or the lights in our home that we take for granted. But we're so focused on but we're not there yet. But the question is, where are we going? Like, right. If we don't have a direction, like, having a compass or a purpose, we're just kind of haphazardly just going through life and wondering what's next. Right. So, I mean, slowing down has been a big, sometimes I need to take my own advice and a reminder, but it's definitely been a life-changing, something simple as that. But it's really cool. So, I mean, I'm honored to have you here as our guest and just sharing your story. And of course, through your story, through your works, through your triumphs and struggles, is that no matter what, you tapped into your purpose and you're pursuing it and you're on fire and you're making magic happen, and your work is out there touching so many lives and making a difference. And obviously, with your Paper Bag Chronicles and everything that you're building off of that as well, really inspiring women to look and feel their best from within. So whether you rock a paper bag or, some high-end luxury designer brand, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, because if you don't feel it and you don't believe it, then it's not even for you, right?
Like, if you look and feel like shit, you can tell when people, I'm like, girl, bye. I don't know why you put that on Gucci, because you don't look like Gucci. Like, you don't look like you just spent that much money on it. You might as well have on nothing. Okay.
Yeah. But so Braisha, to kind of wrap things up, I mean, let's give our listeners the details. Like, how can people connect with you, find out more about you, give us all the goods.
Awesome. Okay. Depending on when is this coming out?
It'll be coming out later this month.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, y'all. Okay, stay tuned. So I have a podcast, so y'all gotta listen to my podcast. Rachel's gonna be on there, and it's called Can You Rock a Paper Bag? It's all about loving yourself and owning yourself, being fearless and unapologetically confident in yourself and all that you do. As well as that, guys, Paper Bag Chronicles got some things popping up. We have a self-love brunch in Akron, Ohio. That's kind of like in the middle of July. But a big thing, right? I'm gonna say it on your podcast first, Rachel, because nobody else knows it, right? So this is about to I shouldn't even say it, but I'm gonna say it. Let's do it. So Kiss by Bo is about to have a storefront in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Okay. Over there on Main Street, over there by Pecan Pennies. Okay. And what we're going to do is so much stuff in there. It's going to be so much purposeful stuff in there. We're going to do self-love Saturdays, right, guys? We're going to do, of course, y'all come in there and shop all day because by Bo denim, you feel me? But we're going to do self-love Saturdays. We're going to do self-love photo shoots, things of that nature. We're going to open it up with a fashion show. That's the grand opening. It's going to be a designer reception and a fashion show. And then Sunday is going to be Kiss by Bo's Fashion and Wellness Weekend. So we're going to just start off with a designer reception, and we're going to have some guest designers featured in the store. Next day, that Saturday, is going to be a fashion show with Kiss by Bo pieces as well as other designer pieces. And then that Sunday is going to be the wellness portion. And I'm going to do a live podcast recording. And Rachel, I'm going to hit you about this later, but I want you to go on the campus. We're going to talk about some stuff there. And I want people to hear what we're talking about and the discussions that we're going to have, because I feel like wellness and fashion is needed. Like, we can always talk about fashion all day, like the latest outfit, how are you feeling? But how do you feel before you put these clothes on? That's always the goal, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I really, really want to push to the people, fashion wellness. So stay tuned for that one, guys. It's going to be, y'all know when Columbus Fashion Week is, that weekend. You feel me? So it's Kiss by Bo's, it's Columbus Fashion Wellness Week End. You feel me? So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. So that's one of the big things that's popping off. That's where all my energy is going towards. We got pop-up shops throughout the summer, but October, it's going down. Y'all heard it first on the Confident Woman podcast with Rachel Brooks.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So many good things are happening. Of course, Columbus Fashion Week, I'll be there as well with my brand and designs as well. So this is just really cool. How everything's just transpiring. So I just want to thank you, Braisha, for being our guest. And of course, we're going to include all of that in the show notes. So I just want to know from you, what makes a confident woman? Let's just hear what that means to you.
What makes a confident woman is rocking a paper bag, for real. What makes a confident woman is you are confident. Like, even if you feel like you're not confident, right? And it's a bunch of layers to get to that confidence. You right here, that core you, that's confidence. You know what I'm saying? You just got to peel back the layers to get to that. You got to get to that girl. Get to that little girl. Shoot, when we was born, we was confident. When we was kids, we had no worries. We didn't care. Then all of a sudden stuff started changing. You know, life happens. That's that one layer. Something trauma happened. That's another layer. People start talking about you bullying. That's another layer. Peel back those layers. Get to that little girl. That's confidence.
Love it. So thank you so much, Braisha. We look forward to our listeners just hearing this word and hearing the message. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you rocking with me today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate you so much taking time to listen to our podcast. If you love what you've been hearing and you're looking forward to hearing more content from us, be sure you take the time to subscribe, like, and review the Confident Woman podcast. We definitely appreciate you taking the time to do so. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Confident Woman podcast. For more ways to connect with us, check out our Facebook group. It's the Confident Woman on Facebook. There's a ton of amazing ladies in that group that you can connect with as well. My Instagram is @Aaron_travels for life. Make sure you go ahead and follow that, and follow Rachel as well. What is yours, Rachel?
You can follow me on all social medias @I am Rachel Brooks.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Look forward to checking you next week.